If you like this video, please subscribe for the new classes and don't forget to click on the bell icon for new updates.
Hey guys, good evening. I hope you guys can see the screen now. I'm just unmuting all of you people. You can go ahead and just unmute yourself. I just unmute you guys. Can you let me know whether you can see the screen? Yeah, you guys can see the screen. That's great. Okay, guys, you guys are in a unmute, so no need to worry about that one. No, you are in unmute. You have to unmute yourself.
All right. Yeah, I can see it now.
That's great. Okay, great guys. I hope so you guys can see the screen now. Let's move further. I just want to start today's class, and still most of the people have questions like what was the contents are supposed to be explained. I have already explained in the demo class. The contents we're going to start as usual, like the HANA and BW on HANA and business objects. In a business objects, we're going to discuss about information design tool where we can create universes based on HANA data sources and based on BW data. So we're going to use a BW as a data source. HANA has a data source for business objects reports, which we create a universes. I'm going to cover the topics, and we go to web intelligence. I think I can see a lot of noise. I'm going to mute you people. Then we're going to the web intelligence reports. Then we will be using or utilizing that particular universe which has been created based on the BW data sources and HANA data sources. Then we'll end up creating a reports. So this is a business objects side topics like a point of view. And coming back to the BW, in a BW we're going to discuss about, or we're going to learn, you guys are going to learn the BW and HANA related topics. It's completely like a BW on HANA. What are the new features has been introduced in a BW related to HANA? What are the new modeling concepts are there? And how do we need to utilize that? How do we consume the BW, the modeling objects in HANA? At the same time, how we can consume the HANA models into BW. This is very important on day-to-day job. For example, if you get into a project where you're going to work as a BW on HANA consultant, then you have to work on HANA Studio, you have to work on BW workspace, then you have to work on BEX Business Explorer, then you have to work on business objects. This is your day-to-day, the tools which you're going to use in your real-time projects. Okay, so these are the topics we're going to, I'm just giving you high level information to you related to the top topics. Then coming back to the real-time scenarios, I'm going to pick up a couple of real-time scenarios and how we can implement them by using all these tools, and how we're going to produce the reports as per the user requirements. So I'm going to get the requirement documents which has been provided by the end users or business users. We can call, these are the technical words we use, the end user or business user. But normally in a real-time environment, we're going to call them as business analyst or functional analyst who is going to provide us the requirements. So when they provide the requirement, then what we're going to do exactly with that? Is there any people involved in between the developer and the business functional consultant or business system analyst? So there are a couple of people has been involved. Then how are you going to get the work? And there are a couple of like project related activities. We call that like Scrum methodologies. So how are you going to get a work? Like we have a sprints. I'm going to discuss about all those topics. Then till you receive the requirement, being as a developer. So once you receive the requirement, then how are you going to start the working on it? How you have to understand the concept of the functional specification documents and technical specification documents. So there are two different types of documents will be available. So the functional specification document, they're going to explain to you a completely related to the functional process of the requirement. For example, there is a finance related people, they say that we need a cost sheeting report. Then this is how they're going to talk to you. They doesn't know anything about technical. Then you have to probe them, you have to find out the questions, you have to ask as many as questions you have till you get the clarity on what you have to do, being as like BW developer or HANA developer. So we're going to discuss about those concepts as well. Then once you get the requirement, then how you're going to start understanding the requirement, how you're going to start implementing, how you're going to end with the report. The real-time scenarios, I'm going to pick up a couple of the real-time scenarios which I have done in my day-to-day job. Then I'm going to explain to you how you have to complete. This process is going to help you if you get you into a job, how you have to do that without depending on anyone else in your team. You don't need to ask any questions. For example, if you do not have this knowledge, then you have to start asking the people, hey, let me know, I got a requirement, how we can do this. Can you help me that? How I can start? I don't know where I have to start. I don't know where I have to end. I don't know what tools I have to use. Then I don't know that how do I move my objects from development system to quality, and what is the procedure, and what are the tools we're going to use for this application lifecycle management. So we have to ask each and every questions if you do not have this knowledge after getting a job. See guys, you have to understand one thing. Attending an interview and in job, like after getting a job, this is going to be like two different tough situations for the people if you do not have a proper knowledge into that particular technology. If you do not have a proper experience in that particular technology. I'm not naming technology. Let it be any technology. Let it be SAP or non-SAP. Let's take, for example, I have a Java developer. For example, I take a course in Udemy or online. I complete my Java development course. Then I start attending for interviews. For example, I cleared my interview. I get into a job. They're going to give me my requirements. Then how do I start? So how do I move the objects? So nobody will teach you in the courses like real-time based situations. That is what we're going to learn in this particular course. So this course is really going to help you to get confidence, and once you get into a job, and it's going to help you to clear your interview also. So this is how we're going to start, and this is what the topics we're going to focus on this particular course. Right guys, so I'm going to start the course from the HANA, then slowly we move into BW, then we'll move into business objects. So once I start this course, I'm going to give you a basic concept to understand the architecture, to understand exactly what HANA system, what is the look and feel, how do we navigate each and every option, each and every corner in a BW and HANA, and what are the major places where I have to keep focus on what is the key important topics or key important points. Then we're moving to slowly a step by step into other topics, right? Let's move into today's topic. So I'm going to explain to you today what exactly HANA is doing here and what is a HANA. So we already explained to you in your demo class, HANA is nothing but it's an in-memory database. So there is two different topics here. The people will be still getting a confusion. What is a HANA and what is a BW on HANA? So this is one of the biggest confusion we have. So if you talk about what is the difference in between these two, let's talk about first HANA, then I will explain to you what is a BW on HANA. So HANA, we said it is an in-memory database. Just forget for time being what is in-memory. Let's talk about only a database. So the database, we have two different types of databases are available. What are the databases? DBMS, Database Management Systems, or DBMS, Relational Database Management System. So what is the difference in between these two? The database management system, we only manage the data to store the data. But when you talk about the real-time RDBMS, Relational Database Management System, where we're going to work with the multiple tables, we're going to join them or merge them, then we find out how the data has to be produced from various tables. That is a relational concept. So we're going to create a relationship in between the two different or three different tables available in our relational database management. So relational database management is going to make a big difference in the market. So for example, let's say when you talk about RDBMS, let's say I have a customer table. What is a customer table contains? Everybody knows what is a table. Table contains rows or columns to store the data, right? So always in a RDBMS systems, the data will be stored physically in tables. When you talk about the tables, we say the data stores physically. So when you say customer table, let's say that I have a customer number, customer name, for example, age, address, phone number. This is related to the customer, right? So when I say customer number, always there should be one column should be primary key. So what is a primary key concept? A primary key is nothing but which contains a unique values which doesn't accept any duplications, right? So then I have here sales order tables. What is a sales order tables contains? It contains a customer number, for example, item number, so item name, then it's a price, quantity, then total. For example, I have two different tables in the same database. Let's say I want to find out which customer purchased a laptop, right? So if you want to find out such a way, then the data, the customer related data has been stored into one particular table and sales related information has been stored into a different table. So how do I find out combining these two tables and one particular data? For example, let's say that here in a customer table, I have a customer number, name, for example, age something. Let's say customer number 1, 2. I have here Kiran. So if I have a data like this, then I have here customer number, item name, 1, 2, item number, laptop, let's say L1, T1, then item name is going to be laptop, TV. So if you have a data like this, I want to find out which customer purchased a laptop, a particular, the product name, then I have to merge this. So what I'm going to do this, I'm going to join. So that is called making a relation. So how I'm going to join this, since this table has the customer number, the other table has a customer number. If the column has the same name in two different tables, then the first table is called primary key, the other table is going to be called foreign key. So we can connect these two columns, then we can find out which customer purchased a laptop based on the customer number. So this is how we're going to relate this database, so I'm not going to in-depth. It's very basic information. Okay, now HANA is RDBMS. We said it's a relational database management system, and it has in-memory capability. So where the data stores in the memory. Now if you come back here, how the data stores in a memory, like how the system has been built, then we need to talk about this hardware technology and software technology. When you talk about the hardware technology, the HANA system supports a multi-core architecture. What does it mean with the multi-core architecture? So multi-core is nothing but which is going to be supporting 8 into 8 cores CPU in one particular server. There will be 8 core CPUs. We can keep it into one particular server. That is a minimum. Then massive parallel scaling with numerous blades. You might have heard about the hardware concept. There will be a blade servers. If you go to your data center in your organization, you can find out there will be a lot of racks will be there. Each rack has one server. We call it a blade servers. A blade server is nothing but it is an enterprise class server. Fine. So this is a hardware related. Then coming back to this, it's going to accept the 64-bit address space. Maximum 2 TB can be fixed into a RAM. Then 100 GB of data can be processed, and it also has a decline the cost performance. The cost performance is nothing but we cannot store more the data. Of course we can store, but it's very expensive. So the hardware technology is such a way it has been built to support this in-memory capabilities. And one thing is, if you ask SAP to purchase the HANA system, they're going to give you a suggestion that you have to purchase the hardware what do you call configuration or hardware equipments from the certified vendors called Intel, HP, IBM, Cisco, Fujitsu, or Dell. These are the certified vendors for SAP who provides you hardware equipments for HANA servers. So you have to purchase them. This is not a mandatory, but they strongly recommend you. The reason because if you use your own administrator or any hardware engineer to build or assemble this HANA servers, then SAP doesn't provide you any support. If you require support from SAP, the complete hardware should be built by the certified vendors. So this is a very important concept. Then you need to understand this multi-core processing. The advantage of the multi-core processing is going to be that if you want to start reading the data can be divided or split into cores. Each core can take care of into one particular column. This process makes you to read the data much faster comparing other systems. This is the advantage of multi-core processing, right? Then coming back to your hardware technology. So when you talk about the hardware concept, when you talk about the software concept, we already completed hardware. Coming back to the software, on the top of your hardware, when you start installing the software, then software has such a way it has been built to support the high-performance analytical the process, like it's going to support a row and column store. But one thing you have to understand that each and every database stores the data in only row level by default. If you want, you can change it, but no one aware of this one. And a lot of people will tell you that HANA has been introduced the column store. That's completely a false statement. HANA has not introduced the column store. Column store table is a very old concept which has been implemented into other RDBMS system, but they were not utilizing that particular feature. When HANA has been started using a column store, it has been highlighted. It came into the limelight. Then everybody start thinking about HANA has been introduced a column store table. So you can store the data in a row level, or you can store the data in a column store in your table. But the default storage in HANA is only column store. If you don't select any type, automatically the table will store the data in column store, and the data will automatically get compression. You have options to partition the data, and you can split the data into partition. The partition data will provide you the performance improvement to reading the data. if you have a multi-core processing system, it's really going to help you. It doesn't require to aggregate the table since it's automatically do the aggregation. You don't need to do anything by manually. And you can only do the insert only on delta also. So when you have a delta loading, we don't do the insert, but we can do the insert on delta capability. So this is a particular software technology innovations available in your HANA software system. But you have to understand one thing, how this in-memory capability is going to work. When you talk about in-memory capability, then we need to talk about data persistence. So when you say data persistence, what exactly the meaning of the data persistence? See, for example, how the data gets stored in HANA, then how the data will be reading, how the data will be writing in HANA system. So we know very well HANA has a main memory. We also call it is RAM, right? When you say the main memory, and HANA should also have the hard disk. We also call it is data volume. So this is called hard disk or data volume. So when you say data volume or hard disk, this is where exactly your physical data gets stored. This is your hard disk. And if you say that RAM, so anything, whatever the data you want to read, the reading will happen from the RAM. And you need to understand that read will happen from RAM and write operations happens from your hard disk. So this is a clarity. The reading operations will perform from the RAM, the writing operations will perform in the disk. You need to understand this two concepts. For example, let's say that I am going to insert, always RAM contains system tables, not physical tables, right? For example, I have a table. When I insert a record in the table, when I say commit, automatically the record will be inserted here. When I say commit, commit is nothing but a save. When I say commit, nothing but save. When I save the data, see, then automatically it will be writing in the hard disk. Then whenever it writes in the hard disk, you have to understand automatically there is one more operations will be performed. We also call it is log volume. There is one more storage called log volume. So here it is going to create audit. What happened exactly? A record inserted. It will show you with the date and time how many records has been inserted. Okay. So then when I'm inserting for example, let's say I inserted a second record, it will automatically read here. Then it will automatically update one more. This is completely your audit table, or you can say the log table or log volume, you can say. It says one more recorded, inserted on so and so date and so and so time. For example, I'm going to insert a third record, and before commit or before I'm clicking on save, for example, I lost the power. So when I lost the power, then what happens? When you lost the power, the RAM will lose the data, but hard disk has the data, right? And so whenever you lost the power or restart the system, it's going to be losing the data because the RAM or memory is not a permanent storage system. It is a temporary storage area or system, which you have to understand this. Okay, when you lose this data, then how do I know that how many records has been inserted? The third record, say for example, when I get it back again, when I'm going to inserting the data, so then where it is going to be like starting. For example, let's say that I'm going to reading the record number 2. When I'm reading the record number, reading record number 2. When I'm reading the record number 2, I lost the power. When I lost the power, we lose the data. When you restart the system, how the system knows what you were doing in the previously when you before losing the power or before restarting the system. That information will be stored here. Whether it has been inserted, whether it has been reading, whether it has been updating or deleted, that information will be stored in your log volume. So it will show you that the last time you inserted a second record. So then automatically what happens is it is going to pick up the third record where exactly you missed it. That will be automatically loaded from the main memory to, again, whenever you say commit, it will come back to your table. This is exactly how the system will work. But you need to understand one more concept is there is a load and unload. The two options are there. Anytime, whenever you're creating table, system will automatically put that unload priority 5. By default, the number will be 5. So always the loading priority or unload priority will start from unload priority always starts from 0 to 9. I'll explain to you what is a 0 and what is a 0 to 9. What is a 5? So what is a load and unload? For example, if I'm reading the table and this table is occupying almost my 2 TB of the space and I want to read one more table, someone else is trying to reading the second table, table 2, then what happens? It doesn't have a space, right? So whenever they done this operation of reading table 1, it has to be unloaded automatically. So how this unload will happen? Whichever, for example, I have a table 1 is 0, table 2 is 1 and table 3 is 5. If I have an unload priority like this, then whichever the table has a 0, the table will be unloaded from memory automatically. So it will be unloaded from the memory automatically. Then other tables will get the space to start the reading operations. This is how this automatically the tables will get dropped. But remember that unload is not a deleting. Unload is only clearing the memory. The table will be disappear from the memory. The table will be cleared from the memory to provide you more space. Then always the table will be available in your hard disk or your disk volume, right? So whichever the table hit the number 1, it will be unloaded next. Whichever the table has a 5, it will be unloaded. So this is how the table will be unloaded automatically. But whenever you start reading again the table 1, the table 1 comes back to RAM. If there is no space, then table 2, nobody is reading the table 2 and the table 2 unload priority is 1, it will automatically, it will first check, is there any table has a 0? None of them has a 0. So the second, the point is 1 only, it will automatically get unload from the RAM. This is how the RAM will be clearing its space. It's nothing but a cache. It's keep clearing the space and providing a space to the new tables which will be reading by the other different users. This is how the data will be loading and unloading automatically from the RAM, right? But one thing you need to understand that whenever you're trying to inserting a record, there will be always there will be a save point in your system properties. In a HANA system properties, there will be a save point. So it will automatically saves the data. You have to set up 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 1 minute. When do you want to automatically save the data? In case if you lose the power or in case if you restart the system, automatically the data gets stored in that particular time. So that is a save point which will be set up by your system administrator. So this is how the data will be loading and unloading from your HANA system. Then coming back to the next topic, what is the difference in between the row store and column store? You need to understand the concept in between these two. For example, if you see on the top, I have a table which is in a row store. I have 3 columns, country, the product and sales. It has 4 rows. I have 4 countries here and 4 different products here and different sales figures I have here. This is how the row store table looks like. And if you want to start reading the data in this particular style of the table, the data will be reading from like this, row wise. Okay, then again the data, it comes down, it will read like this. So it goes from the left to right. So for example, if I want to find out the which country has a noodles, then the system will go like this. First India, and it will check the product. No, it's not matching to the noodle. Then goes to next record, again check the data in the particular column, not matching. Then goes here, not matching. Then goes here, it's matching. Then it says this is the record or row number. But if you understand that we have unnecessarily read the 3 records here, which is not required. So here we are consuming the time, which doesn't require, but still the system is going and reading all the system. If I have a 4 records, this is a well good, and I don't have any more time I'll be saving since I have very few records. What in case if we have a millions of records? Then this is where exactly the performance comes to the picture, right? So I'm not saying that row store table is not a good idea or it's useless. I'm not saying that. Of course, we are using the row store table for many years. But one thing you need to understand that what operations I'm performing here. I am doing a read operation here. The read operation is not suitable for the row store table, right? Because it has to read for each and every row. Let's come back to the column store. So if you say that how the data gets stored in the memory. If it is a row store table, it will take the complete row. For example, it will take this complete row, the row 1, it will store the data. See, can you see here? Complete row 1. Then row 2, then the next row and next row. So this is how the data is going to read here. Where is the particular product? It is going to check in each row and finding out the product is available here, not here. This is how the data stores in the memory if it is a row store table. But the same concept, come back to the column store table. The column store table, it is going to take the entire column and it will store into the memory. See, it's storing the country column, the product column and sales column. So now if I start looking for a product information, it comes and only read the product information. It's not going to read this or this. How the system knows that I'm going to read only a particular, the column, a particular record? Why it is not reading all these things, all the other columns? The reason because whenever the data stores in column store, it will automatically going to create an index. That index is called position index. The position index is nothing but every record will have a number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that. So based on this number, it particularly goes to a specified the search, whatever the input you're going to give, that particular keyword, it will pick up and match with your table, the index number. So this is going to make your read operation much faster comparing with your row table. So what we have to understand here, we have to understand one concept here. It is very easy to write the data in row table because the writing operation always happens from left to right. It is always easy to read the data in column store. The column store will be storing the complete column into one place, the next column into the following place. So it will be easy to read the data. So based on this, we have to understand the read operations good for column store. So column store good for read operations. Row store tables are good for write operations. So this is a difference in between the row store and the column store. This is one of the interview question. They're going to ask you what is the difference in between the row store and column store. Then straightforward you can answer them. The row store is good for the write operations and the column store is good for the read operations, because the column store as a position indexing will be created automatically. Based on that, the system will find the particular record. So this is what you have to answer. Fine. That is called the column store. Then come back to this. The HANA has one more, the good feature is the delta merge operations. So they're going to ask you what is a delta merge in case if they want to go very in-depth in your interview. The delta merge operation is nothing but whenever you talk about your HANA system, the main memory, how the data writing and reading operations will perform, we can check that one. So always there is a two different storage separations, main storage and delta storage, okay, which is going to enable high compression and high write performance at the same time. So you can read and write the data at the same time with this particular two different storage options, right? So how the write operations happens? Whenever you create a record or insert a record, only in delta storage it will be stored. See, whenever you create a record, I told you we have a main storage and delta storage. It will goes to a delta storage whenever you create a record. Okay, so it will go to the delta storage when there is an option called merging. So system will do the option that is called delta merge operations, which we have to specify a word called auto. So automatically the system will merge at certain time. This will be taken care by your HANA administrator. No need to worry, you just need to understand the concept. So whenever the auto merge happens, the data will be moved from delta storage to the main storage. So the main storage, if you want to read the data has to be read from here. Okay, so the read operations always have to read the data from both main and delta storage and merge the results. So what in case if the main merge is not available, still I can read the data from delta merge also, because the system is going to use multi-version concurrency control, which is called MVCC, to ensure the consistent read operations in your delta storage. Okay, so whenever I'm going to the merge, what happens is the system will be like this, delta, and this is a main merge. So during the merge, so now the record is here. Whenever I'm sending the record to the main merge, during the merge, what happens is system is going to create one more delta. Okay, so one more main. So what happens is during the merge, the record will goes to then one more main delta. So whenever it goes here, then what happens is automatically the system will remove this to delta merge and main delta storage and main storage. Then you have again the new delta storage and main storage. So what is the use of this one? This is nothing but like you have this failover. For example, during the merge, in case if something happens, still the record is available on your delta merge. You can read from here also. That is a failover purpose, they put it here. So you have to understand this is how the record will be merging. So what is the benefit of this? It's going to improve your performance because this delta merge operations are going to support by only column store tables. So if you have a column store table, this is going to be biggest advantage for the particular system. So because it is happening reading in one storage, writing in another storage, so there won't be any kind of conflict in between these two operations. So this is going to be a biggest advantage if we have any column store tables, right? So this is all about your delta merge operations, right? So now this is a basic information I'm just giving you how the hardware and software concepts works in your HANA system, right? So, and one more thing, I clearly told you that we can use HANA as enterprise data warehousing, or we can use as our native HANA, we can use as a data mart. For example, let's say that how I'm going to get the data. It's very simple. Always remember that if you have a HANA database, whenever you install, it will be black. There won't be any data. So how I have to get the data? From where I have to get the data? Then you have to look for your organization, whether they are storing the data in MS SQL Server or ECC or flat files. We call these are all data sources. So we have to connect. Let's say they are using the 3 different systems. How do I connect these 3 different systems to HANA? How do I get the data into HANA? Then we have to use ETL tools. ETL stands for extraction, transformation and loading. There are ETL tools called BODS, Business Objects Data Services, which is a SAP product, and HANA has inbuilt ETL tool called SLT, SAP Landscape Transformation, which provides a real-time access. SDA, it is again HANA inbuilt, Smart Data Access. By using these 3 different tools, I can extract the data from the various data sources into HANA. Once I extract the data, I can see the data into a table formats. Based on this table format, I can start build the models. Based on these models, I can start build on reports by using SAP Business Objects. This is exactly what we're going to do with the HANA. This is the only part of HANA. What in case if I want to do with the BW on HANA? When you talk about BW on HANA, you need to understand one thing. The BW is going to be your front end and HANA is going to be your back end. Let's say that I'm going to insert, this will be your HANA database and this will be your BW system, or I can say front end, or I can say this one back end. So if I store any data or if I bring any data into BW system by using my front end, automatically the data gets stored in the back end as a HANA database, right? So this BW, I'm going to use a BW data warehousing workbench, DWW, data warehousing workbench. We can call this data warehousing workbench. This is your front end tool name. Based on this front end tool name, I will connect to any data and get the data into BW system. It will store automatically into HANA. So what is the advantage of this? Earlier, we were using a database backend called MS SQL or Oracle as a database system. But now SAP started using HANA database system. That's the reason we call it as a BW on HANA or BW powered by HANA. So what is the advantage of this system? Is it only for storing the data? Is it only just replacing the third-party databases and using SAP own database? No. The biggest advantage is whenever I have a data available here, I can see the data in my HANA Studio. In my HANA Studio, because I can connect the data from HANA Studio to this database. So when I connect the data, I can see all the data, whatever you generated here, I can see all the data in my HANA Studio. Based on this, I can start designing again the data models in HANA. But this data belongs to BW. So this is the biggest advantage. So why we have to design the models here, not here? It doesn't mean that if I have a BW on HANA, I have to do only modeling in HANA, not in BW. No, nothing like that. So you can do the modeling in both places, but you need to know what type of operations, what type of requirement you have to do. For example, let's say that I want to always load the data, and if I have, for example, today I want to load the data. Let me give you an example. Today I want to load 10 records, and tomorrow if I have any new records, For example, out of this 10, if any product name has been changed or version has been changed, only those product has to be updated. Not loading. I want to only do updated or overwrite. So then what I need to do? Whether I have to go to BW or HANA, you have to decide here. So which option I have to go? Can I do overwrite functionality in HANA Studio? No. Can I do override functionality in a BW? Yes. What is that? Dso, Datastore Object. That is what I need to do it. Okay, I have a DSO, but I want to create a report on top of this. And the report has to be run much faster. Then what I do? I call this DSO here because when I connect my HANA database, when I connect my HANA database in my HANA Studio, I can see the DSO data here. Then I can start designing model. I can create a report on top of HANA database, not on BW. So you need to understand in which situation I have to go to BW and which situation I have to go to HANA Studio, only based on your requirement, which you can understand easily, right? So this is a concept of BW on HANA systems, right? Then I'm going to show you that how the HANA system is going to look like and how the BW system is going to look like. So whenever you install your HANA Studio, you're going to get HANA Studio icon on your desktop. Whenever you double click on it, it is going to open your HANA Studio. This is a front-end tool, and let it be your HANA server located anywhere in the world. If you have access, you can connect it. Now you can see this is my HANA Studio screen, and to be frank, whenever you open the first time, it's going to open a welcome screen to you. Let me show you. Show view, it's going to be welcome screen. Yeah. This is what you're going to see whenever you open the first time. For example, if it is a real time, what I need to do? Am I going to get an access directly? No. Whenever you join in a project, they'll ask you to install the HANA Studio. Then the first question you need to ask them, let me start your real-time, the environment which we can practice from now onwards. First, they will ask you, install HANA Studio. The first question you need to ask, where is the software located? You should not say that I don't know how to install the HANA Studio. Ask them, where is the software located? So whenever you say where is the software located, they're going to provide you shared drive access. They will show you a network drive, the company network drive. So when you open that, there will be HANA Studio software or exe file. So this exe file, you need to find out what is your system, whether it's a 32-bit or 64-bit. How do I find? Whether your system is a 32-bit or 62-bit, you can go to Start button, right click on computer, you can select the properties, then you can find whether it's a 32-bit or 64-bit operating system. It is a 64-bit. So based on your computer, based on your laptop, you have to select that particular exe file. When you install, it's very easy. You have to simply read the instructions, click on next, next, next. It will install automatically. Then you have to install along with HANA Studio. You have to install HANA Client. What is this HANA Client? The HANA Client is going to help you to connect other data sources like any RDBMS like SQL, Oracle, This is nothing but HANA Client is nothing but a driver. The driver is going to help you. For example, if you go to here, ODBC. Can you see here in a ODBC, if I go to System DNS, you can see here HANA user. This is a HANA, SAP HANA for MS Excel. This is your HANA client. You have to give a name. If it is a HANA user, it will be HANA user. If it is your name, it will be your name. So this will help you to connect any RDBMS other data source systems. That is called HANA client. You have to install this as well. Guys, please remember, if you are very new to the project, very new to the system, very new to the HANA, then you'll get confusion here. People will say, I don't know what is a HANA client. I don't know what is a studio. I don't know how to install it. Never say that. Learn. This is how you have to do start your job. This is your first day activity in your job. So once you've done this one, then what you need to do? So whenever you install it, then you have to ask a question to your teammates or manager. What is the HANA database server details? You have to ask them. This is a one question you have to. They will provide you in a mail. They will tell you that they will give you a list of the servers names. For example, every company has a minimum 3 servers. Minimum 3 servers. What are those 3 servers? Server 1, development server. Server 2, quality server. Server 3, production server. They will give you access to these 3 servers. This is a minimum, but some companies have more than this. For example, some companies have development server 1, development server 2, development server 3. Then they say quality server 1, quality server 2, and quality server 3, and production server 1 and production server 2 and production server 3 based on the regions or locations or countries. If you have a more enough, for example, SAP is available worldwide. They have so many developers, they have so many servers. So you can see a list of servers like this. Okay, don't get panicked. Why they have so many servers? But my trainer told me there will be only 3 servers. Nothing like that. The minimum will be 3. This is mandatory. This is mandatory for any project. But depends on your project, depends on your size of company. They might have multiple servers. Right? So first you need to ask them what is the server details. The server details they're going to give you like this. Server name. They will say you, for example, XYZ. That is a server name. Then they will give you your username and they will give you password. So who is going to provide all this information? Is it your manager or team member? Manager will provide nothing to you. Manager will ask you to get the access. So who is going to provide? Where you have to get the access? You have to get the access from basis team or security team. There will be 2 teams. You need to ask them, please provide me basis team or security team access. The email address. So once you get the email address, send them requesting a server access. They're going to provide you based on your username will be your name always. It will be your name. Then it will be password. That will be, for example, 1 2 3 4 5 6. For all the servers, they will create your account. They will provide you this information. Once you have this information, then come back to your HANA Studio. Then you have to open first option called modeler. Open modeler. When you open this, I have, oh my God, unlock. Okay, let me go to development. Okay, when you come here, you see here the systems are available, but for us it will be blank. I'm going to remove everything. I want to show you how it will look like. So it will be like this. Then what you have to do? You have to start adding the system. How do you do the adding a system? Go to new, then you can say the add a system. The system will start getting adding here. You go to systems. I told this guy to unlock it. Okay, when you click on add system, then it will ask you host name. Host name is nothing but your server name. So whatever the server name you get from the user. For example, I have this information I will show you here. See, for this particular system, for example, they will provide you the details like this. For example, let's say HANA system. The HANA system, they will give you the server name. Here it is a training purpose, they give you only best. But in real time, it will be dev server. It will be like this. Dev server 01 or 02, whatever it is. It will be like that in real time. So you have to enter the server name, then instance number 03. Then you can see what is username and password. HANA ERP 12345. Then you go here, click on next. Here you need to provide username. HANA, what is that? HANA and ERP. This is how you will connect to your database server. What is this? Is it a HANA? HANA ERP 12345. Already exists in the folder. Okay. This is a best only. Yeah, it is a best. HDB best HANA already existed folder. Okay, so we'll fix this error. So this is how you have to add the system. When you add the system, you will see the list of the database. Please remember, the system is nothing but a database server. Okay, and this is your HANA Studio. So I'm going to stop it today here, and tomorrow we'll start working with this navigations, look and feel. We'll talk about all these icons, all these tabs. We're going to discuss about this, whatever the properties, history, whatever you see on a screen, we're going to talk about each and everything the next class. Fine, I'm going to stop the class here. So I'm just going to unmute yourself. You can start speaking in case if you have any questions. You can unmute. Guys, you can unmute yourself, everyone. You can just click on the speaker icon on your screen, that is called unmute. You can unmute yourself. Yes, anyone have a questions today?
Kiran, will you be sharing the PPT?
Yeah, I'll be sharing you the video itself to you.
Okay.
Yeah, any more questions? So we are starting like today. You have to feel that we have joined in a project or in a job. Then how I'm going to configure my HANA system. Then how I'm going to, we are starting from configuration onwards. What questions you have to ask, how you have to move in your project. That is very important. Nobody is going to train you in this. Nobody is going to teach you that you have to behave like this in your company. You have to configure your system like this. Nowhere. If you Google anywhere, any training is there, you don't find that one. So this is what exactly we're learning here. So we are starting the project. Then how do I configure my system? How do I set up my system? And what I need? What are the systems I need? You need to find out all these things. Yeah. Anyone have questions? You can ask me.
Kiran, so when will we get the server access?
Today you're going to get a server access. It's already requested. It will take some time to get this user account refresh. then I'll be sending you the server access details to everyone.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks.
Anyone else? You can unmute, guys. Any more questions? Can I stop it here? Okay, hope so. No more questions. Okay, guys, thank you very much for joining. We'll meet tomorrow at the same time. I'll be uploading this video today night or tomorrow morning you'll get it.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
Okay, thanks. Okay.